Don't run away, 'cause I don't know where you go. I don't want to know. Don't follow me in, 'cause I don't know where I'm going, or how long I'll be living in a dark town, getting darker by the hour. Will I wake up from a dark, dark daydream? Nothing can wake me from myself. Not you or no one else. Don't wait for me, girl, 'cause I don't know what I'm after. You or my career. Don't say it's the end, 'cause I could not take it. Do you know me still? Living in a dark town, getting darker by the hour. Wake up from a dark, dark daydream. Nothing can wake me from myself. Not you or nobody else. Living in a dark town, getting darker by the hour. Will I wake up from a dark, dark daydream? Nothing can wake me from myself. Living in a dark town, getting darker by the hour. Will I wake up from a dark, dark daydream? Nothing can wake me from myself. Not you or no one else.
So like this is a pair of shoes that I'm always wearing Instincts on it.
Higher.
Yeah, no, I'm showing it yet. But I was finding that I was just burning through shoes on it because as soon as the lip of the shoe wasn't like a 90-degree angle, this one would have plenty of life on, at the gym or something like that, or on a steeper climb. So I kept it. But now I just have like a huge bucket of shoes where the toe is very slightly worn and it's too round to fit into these tiny, tiny little edges. So like, you can picture like a tiny little 90-degree edge. If the thing that's going into it is rounded, you're not getting right back into that corner. And I found that I needed a practically brand new pair of shoes to get the most out of these feet, especially that high foot to push into the sloper. I got up there with Zach on some of like the best conditions we've ever had in there. It was like maybe 5 degrees in the fall before it started snowing. And I got up there and I hit the foot and it did actually slip once. And I was so bummed because I thought the first time I got that foot up there, I would be able to do the rest of it. And then I got there again on the same day. And then I was just too burnt out to do the high step. on the right foot, so I even got the tag out right that time. I was like, okay, well, it's just a matter of time. I'm gonna be able to do it. There's still like a bunch of weather that looks really good for the fall. We had one of the best falls, longest fall climbing seasons you've ever seen. And then on what was the last day that actually looked climbable and good, like conventionally good, like nice weather, it was like, I don't know, maybe 7 degrees or something like that and sunny still. I go and I do the cross move and my pointer finger catches on a really weird crystal on that undercling, and then I split my finger really, really badly on the very first go of the day. I didn't even fall right away. I got into the flip, and then it felt like my hand was wet and the rock was perfectly dry, and I was like, what the hell? And then I tried to do something and my foot slipped and it just came off, and I realized that my finger was bleeding like really, really badly. And I was feeling amazing that day and the conditions were perfect, and I was just coming off of the other day where I just about sent it, and that was hard to deal with because when you're projecting, it's like really, really hard to have backwards progression, especially when the season's running out. And I figured that was probably it. I was like, that's it for the year. And I tried again with the tape, but I can't have the left hand taped. I tried it a few times with the right hand taped from other skin stuff, and for whatever reason, the right hand, I felt like I could climb it with tape, and I had a couple good goes with tape, but having the left fingers taped for the sloper especially made it really, really hard to get, like, have the feel to get into the right divot. So yeah, those goes were basically throwaway. And then I thought the season was done, and I thought I was done, but I always had my camera line and my fixed line up on the roof. Yeah, so I had my camera line, and I also had a couple evenings in the fall top roping it. And the reason I do that is because then I can jog in alone and just have like an hour on the fixed rope after work. And it's just really convenient, and just leaving that rope there for filming as well. So I knew that no matter what happened with the weather, I was going to be able to clean the route and get my stuff down, because I could jug up that line even with just a Jumar if it snowed like crazy and get my stuff. And it did snow like crazy. It snowed a whole bunch, and it was very, very cold, and the weather forecast was getting even more cold. And it was on November 3rd that I actually went up there, and it was the same day that Sunshine opened to ski. So it is like truly winter, and the nights in the evening were getting so short. So like end work, and the approach was getting really, really slippery from the snow. So I went with mountaineering boots and crampons so that I could get traction in there, and jogged into the crag after work. And then I had time for exactly one go. Even when I got in there, the light was already getting pretty dim. I set up my tripod and set up my lawn chair, of course. I got a lot of tricks for climbing in the cold. I've been climbing in the Bow Valley for quite a while now. So the first one is hot packs in the chalk bag. Those are essential. It's really, really nice to have hot packs in the chalk bag if they work. And then you can get a good amount of warmth, and you don't get numb nearly as fast. The other thing is, something to sit on. Because if there's snow everywhere, then you really need to be able to sit down without getting your butt all wet, and you need somewhere to put your shoes on. The lawn chair ended up being really awkward to actually put my shoes on. Anyways, so I started the camera, and I thought, well, I'll just take one go. I did warm up, and it was climbable. It was some of the coldest that I've ever climbed, even in like Bishop in the winter and stuff, like evening sessions. Like it was well below freezing, and a bit windy too. So I get into my lawn chair to try after I start my camera, and I'm just like, what am I doing? It's so cold. And I was like, well, I'm warmed up kind of. I might as well try. I only rested for like 5 or 6 minutes after my warm up because I was just getting cold. I jug up on my line on my ascender thing. I put on my shoes from like hanging on the rope so they don't get snowy, and I like awkwardly pull over to the side. And then I started climbing, and something felt really different with my nerves, really. When I had really good weather, I knew that like, oh, this is the day I should do it. I'm ready to do it. I was literally like shaking, and there were times where I was shaking so much that I would miss holds because I was so nervous, and it's just impossible to climb in that kind of mindset. So when I was climbing in the cold, I don't know, I was just focusing on the cold, and I thought it was a terrible day. Nobody was climbing that day, obviously. It was well past the end of the season for most people, and my brain just shut off. and then I just got like on autopilot all the way into the foot move, and I got the foot up, and then I just started trying as hard as I possibly could, just screaming my ass off, getting these feet up, and then I eventually got up into the jug, and then I gave just one last little foot slip just for the video, just to keep it exciting, and yeah, that was not on purpose. And then I climbed to the top. After that, I was able to warm up again on the really good rest. There is also a ginormous rest after the jug, if the jug wasn't enough. And went to the top. I was like, oh, well, that's sweet, but now I'm going to have to deal with whether or not climbing it on my soloist counts as a first ascent, if it counts as a free ascent, because it's just a normal sport route. Like, it probably should be led. Like, what are people going to think if I try to count this? Or if should I just say I did it and not mention that? That's probably pretty dishonest. So what I thought I should do is just ask, just put a post up. I climbed my thing. What do people think? I did it with my fixed rope. I didn't even unclip the crux draw. So the one draw that's quite hard to clip, I did not clip. But it's not the same as a true top rope. I was looking online about like arguments on Mountain Project and stuff, whether this would count as a free ascent. And one argument for top roping not counting is that a normal top rope, you have a belayer pulling up. And if they pull up too much and your arms are bent and you straighten your arms or something, you can weight the rope pretty significantly. So with just my droopy soloist thing, I'm not getting any benefit that way. And I mean, I did all the moves in a row. So in my mind, I felt satisfied. I felt like I had completed it because I did climb every move in a row. But still, very nervous to see what people thought about that. And I was really surprised actually to see the response. I thought there would be quite more people saying no, this doesn't count whatsoever. But actually, most people said no, just take it. Like, you did the moves, and it's semantics. So it's now semantics, right?
Yay!
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what grade you think?
Oh yeah. So in university, while in that area, I put up a 14D, and it called it imposter syndrome, and I was really, really confused about the grade on that one as well, of course. And something about these really, really weird dead vert puzzles is that sometimes moves feel way different than others, and it can really mess with your head with how hard certain things are. Like, sometimes you can try a move and it's hopeless. You get on a take and you try it again and you do it first try and it doesn't even feel that strenuous. You're like, well, what the hell? Why is this even hard? But it's really what's hard is linking together so many low percent precise moves, and then when your shoulders are tired, still being precise. So yeah, some of the holds actually feel okay. Like, especially the undercling one, it feels pretty good. I guess that's only one hold that's good. But that hold is great, actually, except it's upside down. But comparing it to a route like Disbelief. So Disbelief starts off with about a V10 or 11 boulder to get into an absolutely brutal boulder. The upper boulder, I'm not even really sure what grade it is. I have tried it quite a bit now, and I can hold on to all of the hand positions and all of the foot positions, but there's certain spots where I just feel stuck. It's not like I'm trying to do a move, I just like can't even engage. But I can hold on, and it doesn't feel like it's like undoable, which is really, I'm really excited about that. So I think that the route fits really, really well in between Disbelief, which is apparently a hard 15B, and Imposter Syndrome. So we'll give it 15A and we'll see what happens. Like, it's totally possible that somebody comes here and just crushes it in the evening, and it's also possible that they crush it in the evening and it's still 15A because some people just climb that hard now. So we'll just have to see. And it's nerve-wracking calling it that and having people come and maybe I'm wrong and maybe it's easier, but that already happened to Honor and Glory, which is the other 14D that I've done, and it's really not a big deal. It's just a different number, and it's the same route, and you still climbed it, you still named it, and whatever it ends up being, I'm very happy that it's finally done. Like, get some closure, because it's been so long projecting it. Yeah, we'll see what people think about the ethics of the taking this as a free ascent, as a first ascent, but obviously being transparent about it being a top rope, right? And yeah, it could have been done in a better style, but I feel like it is a free ascent. But whenever there's like an ethics thing and there's a disagreement, especially, like, just important to remember that you could come to Canmore and literally fight me. I'm ready. Don't laugh. We could go to the Drake. We could get drunk. We could have a brawl. We could fight.